The sum of all fears.
Oh my God.
You just mentioned something about an anthem.
Yeah.
And I have a very important question about this film.
Hit me.
So, not to jump ahead, but when they're about to drop the nuclear bomb,
Yeah.
and the president is at the football game,
Yeah.
what is with the anthem singer singing not the Star Spangled Banner?
Wait, did they not?
No, he sings he riffs a whole extra verse of the Star Spangled Banner.
Really? Oh, I didn't.
But it's weird because it's in that weird way where, you know how back when Disney owned the rights to Happy Birthday,
Yeah.
no one could sing Happy Birthday.
Right.
But it's surely the Star Spangled Banner is... It's okay to show on film. It's so weird. It's
oh no!
so
Actually,
bizarre.
the NHL owns it, so now they're like, we'll rent it out for the rest
National
of the
Lacrosse League owns the American National
American
Anthem.
national anthem.
Yeah, it's such a
Does he
bizarre...
just have another totally different bunch of lines in there?
Yeah, he sings four extra. He sings four extra lines that are additional new lines, and then he's like,
What?
what's the final two lines of the Star Spangled Banner? He sings normally. He's
Oh.
It's so weird.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it's not like they're thematically relevant to the film.
Now I just want to guess. Maybe it's a Nirvana song in there, or
No, it's I think it's you didn't notice because it just happens in the movie. And you're like, oh yeah, sing the anthem. I'm probably not paying attention. Maybe look at my phone. Maybe
Right.
maybe I'm making a sandwich.
right.
Maybe I get up and get a drink at this point because it's a montage. It's a time passing montage.
Totally.
Where it's cut to Ben Affleck is running or something
At all times.
James Cromwell is driving in his armored limousine,
Mm-hmm.
and then this anthem singer is singing the quote unquote the Star Spangled Banner.
Is riffing on the
It's-
fucking national anthem.
It's so bizarre.
incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. My God, this is such a bullshit pet peeve of my own that I hate so much when they do the in every fucking national anthem. Every time they try to add a little sauce to it, man, don't. Keep it as hardcore as you can. They do it at sports matches too, and I'm like, okay.
I like a straight down the line national anthem.
Yeah.
And I will say, as someone who watches sports, even in this time of political turmoil between our two countries, the Star Spangled Banner is a banging song. It's a great anthem.
Yeah.
So it's much more, and it's always a shame to me that it's so funny because in I watch a lot of hockey, and in hockey, especially during the playoffs or whatever, it's the Canadian national anthem, the people in the arena just belt the Canadian national anthem. And in America, they're just kind of
they just stand there.
They just don't sing
they
it.
just take it.
Which is interesting because at the game that America and Canada played a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
the Americans were actually singing for the first time, and I was like, yeah, that's cool.
Was it the basketball game?
No, the hockey one.
Oh, the
hockey,
yeah.
the Four Nations final. This is so relevant to everyone listening. They're probably
I'm just saying,
big hockey fans. So yeah,
don't add more spice to your already stiff and hard national anthem. Keep it erect.
Yeah,
Don't make it.
It's
don't cursive handwriting your national anthem.
Stiff, thick national anthem.
Keep
out
it
there.
as just nice and girthy as possible.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
need to get fancy. Missionary anthem is perfectly
Totally.
acceptable.
That's the word
Yeah.
for it. I like my anthem.
Vanilla,
like I like my
vanilla national anthem.
Yeah.
is most of the times
hard eye
preferred.
contact
Yeah.
with my national anthem.
Yeah, smile and wave and get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out of here.
So this movie,
Sum of All Fears, baby.
The Sum of All Fears, directed by Phil Alden Robinson. Can I just say one thing about it first before we get started? I've already said a couple things, but I want to keep going.
Go on.
Know what I hate about it?
What you hate about it?
How good it is. This movie's actually
Shocking
very good. Yeah,
how low this rating is, dude.
but
Shocking.
it's okay. This is going to sound hyperbolic, and it is. This movie is perfect.
Yes.
It's a perfect 6 out of 10 film.
Yeah.
Every moment I found enjoyable.
Yes.
I didn't find anything. I was like, no, like I just like this movie. I don't know what I don't know what it is about it.
It's the classic fucking. You want that Jack Ryan shit. You want the urgency of like a fucking Mission Impossible type movie. You want that shit.
It's the missionary position of films. Like it's nothing fancy.
It gets her done.
But it fucking gets it done. You know. I don't know what. Yeah, you liked it too. Were you a fan?
Well, yeah. I mean, you know how much I love when like a movie like this comes out pretty much right after 9/11.
Oh yeah.
Which that's like one of my favorite genres of movies, is that the time that they think to release a film like this, where specifically, I mean, okay, remember when everyone's like, oh, whatever, they just, didn't mention the Arabs and switched out like Islamic terrorists. They basically swapped them out with Nazis, and it's like so dated back in 2002. It's like, guess what? Time's a fucking flat circle.
Yeah.
We're back to Nazi world, baby.
We're back, baby.
We're right there in it, and it's more relevant.
Okay, so the book.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Tom Clancy a bit too, but like the book, it has Arab terrorists, right?
Yeah.
And they switched them out.
Right.
The book was written in the 90s, but before Arab terrorism existed. No, so I have this like vague memory that I read this book a long time ago,
Really?
but like when I was in maybe a teenager, but I don't remember really. But so the original writer of this screenplay swapped out the Arab terrorists because why did he? I forget why, but he was basically like, it felt a little passé because of the fact that terrorism from the Arab world was like such a threat at the time.
Yeah.
And this movie finished filming before 9/11. It finished filming in June 2001.
That's right.
And it didn't come out until 2002.
My God.
So they couldn't really known, but but they didn't, it's not like they went back and reshot anything.
Mm-hmm.
But the original screenwriter did say that he had read this thing about this modern neo-Nazi group in Austria that was like on the rise at the time,
mm-hmm.
which inspired him to swap out the ultimate villains from being the Arab world to
Gotcha.
to us whites. But you know what I mean? Like, it is, but I see what you mean, because it is just a weird ass coincidence.
Totally.
And feels
it's
a
so
little
relevant. It's
a little
fun.
tasteless. In retrospect, having been released only not even a year after 9/11.
Come on, right. Totally.
But also, then again, not to sound a little ghoulish, also the perfect time.
I mean, it was banging then.
Didn't this movie make like $200 million?
I fucking don't doubt it. Yeah.
It was like, it's also kind of like feeding into the fears of terrorism in such a poignant way at the time. And that is also like, that's like watching a horror movie. You go see something terrible. And I gotta say, the presentation of terrorism in this film is scary. It's like,
well, yeah, because they're all such hyper intelligent folk who are like, oh, we're so methodical about this that you're not gonna see this coming until after like half your body's burned out. Like, it was terrifying. I mean, they killed off the entire cast of The Wire. Good God.
I know. It's
Herc.
I don't even remember this happening in The Wire.
Prop Joe, where you going? Just watching the sports.
You would think it would be a big thing in one of those seasons where they would be like, oh yeah, this is the time they set off a nuclear bomb. And then Bodhi would be like, serves them right, those towers were shit, or something like, something like that.
At time they were like, oh, Omar coming, nuclear bomb
he's dead.
coming.
And then Idris Elba would be like, you what, mate? You what?
This whole time.
Oi, I'm Stringer Bell.
Wait.
I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. That's my name, Stringer Bell. Yeah.
Is he posh English, or is he like
that's
just like English?
I don't mean to brag. That's a perfect imitation of Idris Elba. So please don't question it.
Sorry,
Idris himself has approved it.
My bad.
Thank you very much. This movie rocks. I love it.
Yeah.
Perfectly casted. I think Ben Affleck is great.
This might be his like hot boy era. He looks good.
You know what's wild? It's a weird ass coincidence about this film. Okay, so Ben Affleck gets the call to be movies in development. Sorry, let me back up. Movies in development. they're like, we're making another Tom Clancy after Clear and Present Danger, I think.
Ooh, okay.
Starring, I think, Harrison Ford. There's a lot of Tom Clancy adaptations, so like, sorry if I'm getting this wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The expectation is that Harrison Ford is going to play Jack Ryan again.
Mm-hmm.
Philip Noyce signs on to direct. Him and Harrison Ford do not agree on how the story should be. And Harrison Ford is like, I'm done. Goodbye. And then he's like, I'm going to go play an abusive husband in What Lies Beneath or whatever. And that's fine. Totally cool. They are like, okay, let's go a younger Jack Ryan. I believe this book is set before the Clear and Present Danger or something like that. They want a younger Jack Ryan. The Sum of All Fears had been in development hell since like when it was written, essentially, like when the book was written.
Since
they
the
were
90s?
like,
Wow.
yeah, like, but Clancy had been hesitant about selling its rights because of one of the movies. He was like, I'm not sure if they're going to be faithful. And the funny thing is, they weren't. And Tom Clancy wasn't happy about it, which he went on the director's DVD commentary and was like, you just ignored everything in this book.
I mean, I thought they only switched out the type of villain, but
apparently Clancy opened the DVD director's commentary by being like, I'm Tom Clancy. I'm the writer of the book that this guy ignored.
No,
to
good
Phil
for
Alden
him.
Robinson.
Damn, fuck
yeah.
All right.
Well, Tom Clancy, to be fair, is like, I'm literally more successful than 99% of film directors.
Yo,
so,
can I just admit something right now? I thought Tom Clancy was like a made-up name for a made-up guy, like Robert Ludlum's Dan Brown situation. I thought it was no, wait. Sorry.
Robert Langdon?
Langdon.
Robert
sorry.
Ludlum was a
different
person.
guy.
He wrote The Bourne Identity.
Yeah, no, not him.
But Tom Clancy weirdly is sort of made up in a way, but we'll get to that. We'll talk about Tom Clancy in a second.
Okay.
Back to Affleck. Okay. So they're going to adapt to Sum of All Fears. Phil Alden Robinson signs on. They get Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck gets a call on the set of Pearl Harbor.
Damn, okay.
As he's doing a scene with...
What's her face?
Alec Baldwin. Former Jack Ryan from Hunt for Red October.
Oh.
And Alec Baldwin was like, yeah, you should do it. And it'd be good for your career. It was good for mine,
Oh, my God.
And so Affleck signs on. Now, the weird thing I was getting at was it is so crazy that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, both in 2000 and 2002, sign on to become franchise spies. And only one of them continues on. And weirdly enough, Brad Pitt also does a spy movie called Spy Game, which wasn't going to be a franchise. But you're like, it's so weird that these three titans of like hot 30-year-old actors are now doing this. It's very bizarre, but only Matt Damon really found success at it. Ben Affleck at that time, he's remembered for so many dud films. But he did a couple good movies, and this is actually
one of the big
honestly
ones.
one of them.
Yeah,
one of the most forgotten films that he's done, but also one of the better movies that he's been in.
Totally agreed. Yeah,
certainly in the 2000s. Yeah,
I wonder if it was just at the time the culture of films was like, oh yeah, spy shit is hot. Like at some point, all the mafia movies were hot, so all the big guys were doing all the mafia films.
Yeah,
or all the car chase films, and now it's maybe
what are the car chase films?
All the 60 seconds gone in 60
so literally
seconds.
Gone in 60 Seconds in the Fast and the Furious.
But there's so many of them. There's 900 of them.
Well, there's only one Gone in 60 Seconds.
Thank God. Okay.
Thank God. Are you kidding? I would trade in. I would rather have 10 Gone in 60 Seconds than 10 Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, okay. That is objectively correct.
Fast and the Fury. But yeah, so only Matt Damon really had success in that genre. And then, spy movies kind of fall out of vogue, right?
Yeah, when was the last? Yeah.
And honestly, Bourne is James Bond is the most absurd spy character,
right?
Even though they reboot him grittily in 2005 or whatever with Daniel Craig.
Okay, right.
But it's still absurd. They're action movies where the character is a spy. Bourne Identity, I would also characterize as action movies, but there's more spy shit involved. But this kind of spy stuff where Jack Ryan is I I don't know, I print stuff. Then they're like, what do you think of the nuclear arms race? And he's like, oh, bad. Like,
Is it fast? Are they racing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
that kind of spy stuff is like not so much in vogue, and it's only recently, we talked about this in our spy game episode, it's only recently kind of come back into vogue with a lot of TV shows.
Oh,
like
the
Agency,
right?
Slow Horses,
This new Soderbergh film that's coming out.
Yeah, Sex Lives of College Girls, big spy show, and The Pit. I've been watching The Pit, and that's
the hospital spy
it's
game.
my favorite spy show. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta get into it. Okay, I'm.
You gotta get into it. It's great.
The Pit.
Yeah. It's they end up nuking Pittsburgh right at the end. right at the end.
Sorry.
They're just
Wrap
like,
it up.
I'm sorry, Noah Wiley. The patients don't like you. We are nuking your hospital and therefore the city. And he's like, not the pit.
Not the one pit.
It's the entire pit I've been working my whole life in.
My God.
Yeah, it rules. But yeah, this movie fucks. It's great.
How many do you think is the total sum of all fears?
7 or just
Wow.
7-ish. Yeah, around
I
7.
had like close to triple of that. So, and that's a reflection of the ratings, because people like you were like, it's only 7 fears, but I think it should have been much higher. Some.
I think it's one fear. The one fear is getting nuked. I think is yeah.
You know what? That is, yeah, man. Yeah.
It's a pretty big fear.
It's a pretty big fear.
Yeah, dude. I would be. I'm afraid of getting nuked. No, I don't think it's gonna happen, but like I'm afraid of it. Yeah.
How many? I can only think of like maybe a handful of like nuke forward films.
I was gonna talk about this. So
Hit me.
I like in this movie that they get nuked.
Yes.
Because I watched this other shittier movie that no one's ever heard of called
Super
Doctor
vague.
Strangelove that's about nukes. And it's like it's kind of the worse version of the Sum of All Fears.
Like a comedy?
And it's like
or-
black and white.
Oh.
And it's not funny. But no, like I watched Doctor Strangelove again. I hadn't seen it for years, and it's like it's an amazing film, but because of the limitations of the time, like they don't have the big action-y set pieces of this film, right? Because there's a couple great CGI bits in this movie that I really like.
Yeah.
But also that movie is like it's about a nuclear war happening, but the movie is about people sitting around in offices.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't seen it, so
No.
it's like it's hard to describe what that movie is like. But it's like, it's very interior. Let's put it that way. They're on a plane, they're in an office, they're in another office. That's a big portion of the film. Not a lot of action. Also, it's a satire. It doesn't really need action. Whereas this movie is more of like a thriller. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
What I was thinking about, though, was like, there's no movies that are literally about nuclear war.
Yeah.
They're all about brinksmanship.
They're always about almost nuclear war.
Yeah. There's so many that are, and the ones that are directly about nuclear war are not about the war. They're about the aftermath of nuclear war. Like, we watched that movie Threads together. Do you remember Threads?
Mm-hmm.
Threads, for people who don't know, Threads was like a TV film broadcast in Britain in like 1982 or something. That was like the legitimate purpose was like to try and show the most realistic outcome of a nuclear attack. And it's a fucking great film.
Oh
It's
my
like
God,
really
yeah.
good, and it has the most upsetting ending I've ever seen. Like one of the best, most upsetting endings of a film. But it's also like that movie is like, yeah, it wouldn't be fun to get nuked, much like I said earlier. And it's all about the societal kind of like what happens to the people.
Yeah.
But really, you just kind of see one nuke, basically.
And the finality of it is what's so horrifying, right?
Yeah.
It's and it's so interesting how rarely a nuclear film is made as a horror film. It's usually a drama or a comedy.
Well, there's like been one prominent comedy, I think. But it's more.
I mean, Oppenheimer was such a
That was
riot.
the comedy I was talking about. Yeah.
That was the laugh riot.
Yeah. When they have the lady getting her skin peeled off, and that's hilarious. You didn't find that funny? Florence Pugh's titties are funny as hell. I'm always laughing when she's like, "Oh, Siddhartha," or
Please,
whatever.
no.
Yeah, I am become fucking whatever. A bad female character.
I've become silly goose.
I'm become just a goofy guy, and
Oy.
Oppenheimer's just like, "Oh, I killed millions." But yeah, they are kind of like Oppenheimer's is you don't really see the nuclear effect of it. threads. You see kind of the aftermath of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like aftermath and brinksmanship, but nothing in between, which is, I think, what's interesting is because you hear all about the doctrine of mutually assured destruction and stuff like that. And I'm like, I've never really seen that play out in a filmic way, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think that would be interesting. And this movie, I think, gets closest to it. That's what's cool about it.
So I think almost pretty quickly, maybe even a third of the way in, they show us that the nuke goes off in Baltimore.
It's about halfway through the film.
Okay, which feels like pretty quick because I'm like, oh shit, they did it, and then there's a lot of the movie still left where they reconcile with that, right? The fucking outcome or the resolution of that event is alarmingly peaceful, even though it's like led by chaos and fear mongering and all that stuff. They still come to a very positive conclusion.
Oh, I mean, if they didn't, that would be like no one would accept.
Of course,
that. Yeah,
of course. But like the fact that a huge action like that happens, where a bomb goes off in this major city,
yeah,
and both parties are like, "All right, that was a mistake," and we both agree that it was just like a third party acting outside of our influences. Yeah. I can't even imagine if someone does it now.
Oh no!
Trump would be like, "Oh, I have to do all the wars."
Oh, Trump would be like, "I've been waiting for this day since I was fucking turned 18."
Wait.
Yeah,
Or other like fucking non-Putins of the world.
No, it is like it that. The thing is too is like I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know if this happened. I'm just speculating. But like, say they say this movie and or book did have an unhappy ending. Well, there goes Jack Ryan as a character for Tom Clancy's franchise,
right?
Which it didn't. But like, say the movie was like had a, you know how The Mist, the Stephen King book and movie, the Frank Darabont film, at the end of, sorry, spoilers for The Mist. It's from 2007, so maybe watch it. But The Mist is like an okay movie with this like great ending.
Yeah.
Where this guy fucking like shoots his entire family
and
then realizes like just as he's sacrificed everything that the apocalypse is over and he's like been rescued.
Yeah.
Which is great. And then Stephen King was like, shit, that's a good ending. That's way better than the happy ending I had in my book or a story or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And that's like very cool and gracious of Stephen King to do that. But imagining if like The Sum of All Fears had like an unhappy ending and they filmed it and then it was like, oh, it's going to be released after September 11th. That would never happen.
Oh,
they would have to go back and reshoot it.
Right.
Like if you recall, up until the seminal picture Jarhead, like every political thriller was like America is good and just and comes out the winner.
Yeah.
Like for a couple of years after September 11th, just because like,
well, you need that
like
hope
they
for
needed
the people.
it. They needed the hope. That's sort of that's a like sort of an admirable political machination of cinema as you can do that because they kind of needed that at the time.
I totally agree. Yeah. I mean, what a sadistic thing for art to do if they just fucking double down on like, it's nothing but death and doom.
Yeah.
Every time you go to the cinemas from now on. No.
Yeah, like and especially after such a traumatic event.
Oh, no
one
wants to see
11th.
that shit. Yeah.
I think we talked about way back in Pearl Harbor that it was like they beefed up the ending of it or something to be like rah rah America.
Yeah.
Because of September 11th or some shit like that. Because it came out like a month after or whatever. And or I might be wrong. It might have come out before and then it was just so like, oh wow, this was so close to September 11th. It feels like a post September 11th film, but I don't remember. Pearl Harbor rocks. Anyway, we all know that. No one can deny that how good that movie is.
Go back to our Pearl Harbor episode.
No one in this room can deny. But like never really seen nuclear war depicted interestingly on film, and it's a disappointment.
Yeah.
So Roland Emmerich, get on it. I mean,
come on, man.
What have you been doing? Moonfall? Get out of here.
I can think of at least 4 more cities that are good to like drop it on.
Well, after Baltimore and then the Pit
and Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Anything else?
I don't want to name names. I'm just saying.
Because you're sounding a right now.
I'm too brown to be making any disclaimers like this.
I don't want to say it. You said it, but I'm just just pointing out that maybe just tamp it down to keep it cool on
Love is real.
that. Yeah.
Peace is good.
I'm just saying we're sending America all our love and stuff.
At all times.
Because
My God.
because we think their government is so cool and they're doing cool things.
Oh, yeah. I'm paying at least 25% love at all times
Yeah.
for anything American.
Everyone in Canada right now is being like, hey, buy Canadian.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, buy American.
Get after it.
I'm like, they need that steel industry back. I mean, I've seen the pit and their
Look,
hospital fucking
Pitt's-
sucks.
Pitt's struggling out there.
We
Do
did
it
out of
for
the,
Detroit.
We did out of the furnace, and that now that I know Trump has opened my mind to steel, the ideas of steel and aluminum manufacturing,
Dude.
we now know that it was Canada's fault directly for taking their steel manufacturing.
Can I just, what if our podcast had a domino effect of Trump finding our episode on Out of the Furnace
Oh,
and being
God,
like,
yeah.
something must be done
Yeah.
for this nation.
It was a good film. Brad,
Thank you,
Pennsylvania,
John and
good
Bree.
place.
Thank
I'd
you.
never go there, but good place, good people.
I feel like
Full
the
of
people
whites.
need it. Yeah. Just how I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The the weird thing is like with so many people who like have a podcast, if all of our fans ended up being like right-wing nut jobs,
Yeah.
and then like so many people have podcasts where it's like their fans end up being nut jobs, so then they end up being like, well, my fans like it when I do this and
Yeah.
like act like this, and then they end up becoming like nut jobs themselves. And
Oh.
what I'm saying is like I hope that happens with us.
I feel like, that's
Yeah.
like you played yourself.
Yeah, like,
Like,
would
you
you
walked
rather
into
have
it.
like barely any fans, but like the right ones, or would you rather have millions of fans who are the wrong ones? I mean, obviously you want the wrong ones.
Oh, I thought by right you meant the right ones, like right wing.
No,
okay,
the
gotcha.
right, the right,
The
correct,
correct-
people you would actually like in real life. But no, I'd rather have a bunch of people who I would hate be my fans. You know, that's the entire ethos of right wing entertainment. I
That's
believe,
how all
yeah.
social media works, baby.
It is
Get after
true,
it.
yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. So stop with your terrorism shit and start being like Candace Owens and being like, I may be Indian, but I hate all Indians. Yeah.
Thanks, Preeti Patel. Dumb bitch.
Yeah. Start being like, I just think we're inferior.
please, Mr. Trump,
Oh.
can we have a little bomb, please? Little
Oh,
bit of
boy.
bombs.
Okay. Tom Clancy.
Yes.
Have you ever read a Tom Clancy book?
No.
Me neither. I think I have read. I think I've read The Sum of All Fears. I have the memory of having a paperback version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like I've read it. I read a lot of those types of books when I was younger, just like crime or political and military thrillers, things
Yeah.
like that. I mean, I've read fucking Jurassic Park: The Lost World, and no one has read that book. Basically,
What the fuck?
Michael Crichton's The Lost World.
Wow.
It's actually better than the film. I remember.
Wait, that is a crazy take. I mean, the power of imagination. My God.
Well, I have a very powerful
It's a
imagination.
truly powerful mind.
I have the most powerful imagination. I've never read a Tom Clancy book, and I was like very curious as to, because he's dead, which I found out yesterday,
Oh, rip.
and he died 12 years ago.
The most sincere. Oh, rip.
I frankly thought he had been alive a lot longer.
Yeah.
This dude was a fucking gangster. He wrote The Hunt for Red October.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you heard of it. It's a big book.
I love the movie.
He wrote The Hunt for Red October and was like, he sent it to a publisher or an agent or someone, and they were like, I like this book. Pacing's good thriller. That'd be great. And Tom Clancy was like, yeah, I think I could sell like 5,000 copies maybe.
Oh, you fool.
Sold 45,000 like in the first month or some shit.
Oh, yikes.
That was 84. By 88, that book had made him $1.3 million. That's crazy.
Man.
So
Hell yeah, dude.
he starts to become this like industry. In 1992, he sells the combined, is it combined, or it might have just been the novel rights for one of his books. I don't remember which one because there's too many. $14 million for a novel.
For a single one?
A novel.
Jesus.
That's crazy.
Is that like a record?
It was a record at the time.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
He is like truly, and I know that there's probably people out there who are being like, oh, he used ghostwriters and stuff. Well, that wasn't until later in his life.
Well, because he's so busy.
Well, that was the thing, right? He became an industry in himself. And the way you said that, you were like, I thought he was a person who like doesn't quite exist.
Yeah.
The thing is that, and okay, I read some fucking like Reddit comments about people being like, oh, he ghost writes his books and stuff like that. And they just put his name on it. And I'm like, I couldn't find anything quite legitimately saying that.
Yeah.
And by the time, like, you know, he's been dead for years. So it's like, what's the harm? What's the harm? He's a brand
Sure,
name now.
sure.
Obviously, other people write under his, not under his name, but under his like umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually couldn't find shit that I was like, oh, this is, he clearly was just had ghostwriters. But the word was that after one of his books in like 96, he started using ghostwriters. But also, he mostly, I think, would use people to help develop stories, but his fingerprints were largely on all of his work up until he died.
Mm-hmm.
But as you said too, like wealthy writer, he probably has multiple people, and he's just like,
yeah,
like a writer's room for a TV show or
business.
something like that, right? Yeah, he becomes a brand name in a business. He becomes the fucking Oprah of military shit.
Mm-hmm.
And also he's like, he would be writing. He wrote a bunch of fiction books. He also wrote a bunch of nonfiction books. He co-authored all this other shit with like generals and stuff like that. Like he was just a huge deal, you know? And and he died in 2013. But I was just like so curious about his kind of process and stuff. And yeah, he was an interesting, like a crazy success story. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Everything that was like written by, especially specifically Sum of All Fears, even though it's a product of 2000s, right? It's a product of the aughts, but it feels like a holdover of the 90s. It feels so 90s.
Yeah, it but the book was written in the 90s though.
Yeah, but
So-
even like the movie also feels like, oh, this is like a time when surely none of this could happen, even though
Yeah,
it did
because
happen.
because of like the fall of the Berlin Wall and like the lack of the Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like, you know, Russia hovered big in the American imagination they lived rent free in America's head for many years
my
up
God.
until North Korea was like, we have nukes now.
I swear
But
to God, dude.
like until China became like the big bad, quote unquote, and Russia was that essentially. And then it kind of cooled off in our kind of like our adulthood a bit. But like, yeah, for every political thriller in the fucking 90s and early aughts was Russia. Fucking Air Force One, Russia. The Hunt for Red October, Russia. Like it's all,
God.
they're just up to shit, you know?
And,
Starting
like,
wars and
What if America is like, I mean, it's getting in the way of itself and it becomes like this big bad in movies, like the way we've shown Russia and China and the Middle East.
yeah.
Do you think Hollywood would ever go full in on making movies where it's like, yeah, America's the bad guy?
Well, they sort of have, but only by American filmmakers in a way.
Yeah.
Like only, yeah, like it would be weird. It would be weird if like the Chinese film industry made like, or like a Bollywood movie where they had like, I don't know, where they had like Kieran Hines playing like an American general or something.
Yeah, and he's a dipshit. Yeah.
It's interesting because like most of the time those movies, but like that's what Hollywood has, the like left wing image and shit like that. That's why they have that, is because lots of American and in say Sam Mendes' cases, British filmmakers have made like protest films about what America has done abroad. And also like I think Hollywood is kind of saturated with content that is like, oh, America's fucked.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think
you
there's
know.
much content lately that's like, yeah, love my country out here.
Not well. That's why the early 2000s are such an interesting time.
Yeah.
Is because like I said, this is one of the reasons I think Jarhead was such a good movie. Is that it was a movie in a time when you were supposed to be like, hey, America, like it's okay, like you'll get it. You'll get Bin Laden eventually. We'll even. Us Canadians will send a couple hundred troops out to Afghanistan. We'll help you get Bin Laden. Don't worry, it's okay. And America's like, thank you so much. I really needed that.
You're
today.
my bestie.
I just need one more aircraft carrier. They cost like $14 billion. Do you know how much money that is? And we're like, it's okay. We have the steel for you. It's all right. North America free trade, bitch. And he's like, thank God. And then something like Jarhead in 2005 And that's just the first example that comes to my head. I'm sure there are other ones.
Yeah.
But like in 2005 is like, this is kind of fucked up. This is all kind of a fucked up.
Oh, it was
scam.
just a harrowing ending where it's like,
Yeah.
it's all downhill from here. Congratulations, we played ourselves.
Yeah, and that movie is like very much about like, it's like, the Gulf War.
Yeah.
The Gulf War was fucked up. And weirdly, we're still doing what we did in the Gulf War.
And we're eating shit.
It's
constantly.
not better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, so many other movies are just kind of, they have to end on that positive note. But also at the time too, when you're like, it say what you will about Some of All Fears maybe being kind of terrifying to watch post 9/11, but it's also like, it's probably the reason it made so much money is people are like, don't worry, it ends okay.
Yeah.
Like America ends up all right in it.
It's actually better for us that Baltimore is nuked to death.
Yeah.
Jesus. Sorry.
I hated Lake Trout a lot. And I hate the Orioles.
Oh no.
And Jimmy McNulty is a cad. But like it's
a cad.
It's I don't know. It's an interesting time for those types of movies, I think. And
I agree.
Yeah. You want to talk about the plot of this?
I want to talk about one particular performance before we get into the plot.
Well, can we get popping on the plot and then talk about the performance?
Sure.
Because there's a lot of this is a stacked cast of just dude guys.
Just dudes being fellas.
And one of our favorite performers, as evidenced by how many times we've covered her on this podcast, Bridget Moynihan.
Yeah, dude.
Is that who you wanted to talk about?
No.
Who did you want to talk about?
Morgan Freeman.
Okay. We'll talk about the plot.
Okay.
We'll get into Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it by memory because I remember the broad strokes. So
yeah, let it rip.
Starts a little bit like Lord of War. Shows this missile being lost in the desert during the 1975 war between Israel and Syria and Egypt.
That's right. And it was a Israeli missile meant for Egypt. Right.
Meant to go off, bomb someone, and it got hit by another missile, and then crashes in the desert. The nuke gets buried. Mm-hmm. These two guys, it's in Egypt, right? That it's buried.
Yeah.
These two guys, or was it Turkey?
They like in the desert somewhere, and that closer to those parts, they find it.
Well, because Liev Schreiber goes off to Turkey, I thought, to go find the guys who found it, who has radiation poisoning.
Right. Right.
Whatever. It's either Egypt or Turkey. Mm-hmm. They find this missile and they're like, "Oh, this could be valuable. People pay for scrap like this." They meet this South African guy who is like, I actually love that scene. I forget that actor's name, but he's great when he's in the tent and he's like looking at the missile and then he's like, hell yeah, this is exactly what I want. And he goes outside and he's like, this is worthless. Yeah. But I'll give you $400 for it.
Totally. It's he's like classic dipshit trying to
kind of not a nice guy, I think.
Yeah,
this is
a
part
little
of
bit
that.
bad guy. Yeah.
So that guy has the missile and he's planning to sell it to this to some mystery buyers.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, like there's a lot of setup in the beginning. Jack Ryan is working at the CIA.
Yeah.
He gets like put on this detail with Cabot, played by Morgan Freeman, to go to Russia to talk about nuclear disarmament with their new president after the old president has passed away early on in this movie. Mm-hmm. Their new president, played by Kieran Hines.
Yeah.
They go to Russia. They talk about nuclear disarmament. They notice that these scientists are missing, and one guy is like, well, one's gone on vacation, and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, I don't think that's happened. Morgan Freeman plays John Cabot. Or Cabot?
Cabot.
John Cabot discovered Canada.
Oh, so some other Bill Cabot. Bill Cabot.
Yeah, William Cabot. Tell me about it. Morgan Freeman.
I think this might be one of my favorite, like maybe in the top 3 Morgan Freeman acting roles.
Yeah.
Where he's the least Freeman, dude.
Yeah.
You see him and you're just like, oh, he's like the most nerdy kind of, like, he's like so much restraint. He's
a bureaucrat.
Yeah, but he plays the bureaucrat so perfectly.
He is perfect for it.
There's not even one extra percentage of animation in his voice, or he's so good. I was also pleasantly surprised that they killed him off so early.
Yes. Among the many things I'd forgotten about this movie, the poster of this film, from what I remember, has Morgan Freeman and Ben Affleck on it.
Yeah.
And I had remembered that. I was like, yeah, because Morgan Freeman plays the president. No. James
right?
Cromwell plays the president. And Morgan Freeman, yes, he dies shortly after the nuclear blast in Baltimore, which is great because there's a lot of characters in this. And also, as the movie goes on, it starts to become less like Jack Ryan's movie and more James Cromwell's movie in a way.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's too many characters to like balance because there's like, I can't keep track of also Morgan Freeman and Liev Schreiber and all these, and Bridget Moynihan, who they kind of forget about, but that's because unfortunately that's what Bridget Moynihan's entire acting career is built on, is being like the fucking side piece. We've done 4 movies with her in them. This is a 4th.
Yeah.
Some of All Fears, I, Robot, Lord of War.
Yeah.
And wait, maybe only 3.
Maybe 3.
I was trying to figure out who was the performer who we covered the most, and it was Nick Cage and Jared Leto are tied.
Wow.
Nick Cage and Jared Leto in Lord of War, both national treasures, and Gone in 60 Seconds for Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Lord of War, House of Gucci, Morbius, and something else for Jared Leto. But I was like, is it Bridget Moynihan? She might be the most covered actress.
She's up there for sure.
She's definitely up there. We've done at least 3. Anyway, that's besides the point. Bridget, best of luck. Okay. Essentially, so Jack Ryan notices these scientists are missing. He's like, where could they be? What are they doing? He gets sent back to Russia with Liev Schreiber to find out. And he kind of finds out that they were killed in this like abandoned scientific lab or something. Ukraine, actually. They're killed in a scientific lab in Ukraine. And Jack Ryan is like, well, they don't really know what's happening, but we have seen the scientists essentially put this dirty bomb into a
vending machine.
A vending machine, which is really cool and creative and an interesting
and it
choice.
Really is.
Yeah.
And it's so rare to kind of see that shit.
Yeah.
And that is the sum of all fears, man.
Yeah, trying to get a chocolate bar and then you're nuclear blasted.
Yeah.
Dude.
Because
that's what Oppenheimer was scared of all along.
Best case, your candy gets stuck. Worst case, your candy gets stuck. It's a lose-lose for me.
Yeah, but the city of Baltimore is just fine, babe. God, show some respect.
They bounce back. Resourceful peoples of Baltimore.
Yeah, that what was that David Simon? We Own This City. That was great.
But
it looked excellent after the nuclear bomb went off back in the 4th season of The Wire or whatever. So the bomb ends up getting shipped to America. It gets put in this football stadium where the Baltimore Ravens must be playing the sport of football against the Texas Cowboys. I know a lot about it. There's all I know about football is this.
Yeah.
There's the Baltimore Ravens, the New England Patriots. There's 16 Texas teams and the Las Vegas Raiders, but they actually play in Los Angeles.
Stop.
Yeah.
Let's not even unpack that.
I don't know how that sport survives, honestly.
Yeah,
Nobody watches it.
No.
The president was just there. James Cromwell was just there as a favor to the league because,
No wonder they shot his shit to death, man. They were like...
So Cromwell is at this game. So is Morgan Freeman. Ryan contacts them and he's like, he figured out that the bomb is in Baltimore. You should get out of Baltimore. And they get out sort of, but they are caught in the blast in Baltimore. And so it's this terrorist group led by this neo-Nazi. There's a really cool shot at the beginning I quite like where the neo-Nazi leader is giving a speech and his watch is on the table and the camera like pushes in and then moves to the side and it shows the swastika on the underside of the watch. I like that. That was very cool. Not that swastikas are cool. I don't think they are. But I think the camera move is strictly cool. I don't think swastikas are
I just
cool.
like it when they're on watches and just like very subtle, touching your skin, but no one else can see it.
Yeah.
Close to your heart.
Yeah. And so this guy, he's a neo-Nazi. He wants to like revitalize Germany as a world power by making Russia and America fight each other and kill each other.
Yeah.
That's what he says. Bomb goes off. Cabot dies. Affleck finds out that the plutonium was mined in America.
It's an American drug.
Now, I missed this.
Yeah.
Because it's American, it was sold to Israel?
I think the original nuclear thing that like got lodged in the desert has been contributed by America to Israel.
Yeah, because America funds Israel's
Yes.
a lot of Israel's
I just
military.
assumed that was the case.
Yeah, but it's never really said explicitly.
No, because like if the shrapnels and parts of that missile made its way into that vending machine, like it makes it seem like everything that is a part of that missile came from America.
Well, they're measuring the readings of the nuclear fallout, I believe. And it would have look, as a nuclear scientist,
like the sand
you'd think I would know. It's not like parts of the bomb, but the fallout would have readings of the type of nuclear fissile material, I think, used in it.
And they got it from like the river in America?
Well, no, they got it from the crater of the blast. And they found out that specific type, they have their handy little reference book of different types of nuclear fissile material, which is really cool. That's like something I was like, that's actually very fascinating. Yeah. But they don't really explain any of that in the film. The guy just like flips through a book and he's like, came from Georgia or some shit.
San Diego.
The Savannah River Basin.
Right.
So it was mined in America. Mm-hmm. And then presumably, and then the spy, the inside man in Russia was basically like, you guys didn't, it was not stolen. You guys gave it to whoever. God. It's like it's your missile just to fucking Israel just was using it. So he figures that out, and then he figures out that it couldn't have been a Russian nuke. It would have to have been stolen or something like that. Then Jack Ryan gets on the horn to Moscow and starts talking to the Russian president directly. Well, Cromwell is in the air. I love all of the shit in the airplane after the blast with Cromwell is giving an Academy Award worthy performance. It's so good.
He's the most.
Yeah. I love this scene when they're getting on the tarmac, him and Bruce McGill, and he's getting out of the car and he's like, what is this? And what is that? And Bruce McGill's like, I don't know. He's like, well, what do you know? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know anything. And then Cromwell's like, it's okay, calm down. Jesus.
Shit,
just
man.
relax,
what
Bruce.
The fuck, dude?
Not like this is a big deal or anything. But yeah, and then they get on the plane. Jack Ryan talks and they've eventually sorted out. There's in the meantime, after Russia's quote unquote first strike, they also attack an aircraft carrier. I really think that scene is very good.
Yeah.
It's quite brief, but yeah. And then they decide to be friends after all. Jack Ryan saves the day.
Jack Ryan's most important dialogue in the whole thing is like, look, I'm a CIA guy. My job is to get the right information to the powerful people.
Yeah.
And somehow everyone's just like, okay, now is the time for cooler heads to prevail, guys.
I mean,
like, hey, get this guy a microphone. He's got a podcast.
Well, he gets inside the CIA, like the hotline where no one can cut him off or anything, and no one can, they can like listen in, but they can't actually knock out the communications or anything like that. And he sidesteps the president, who was
like a hothead, who
was about to nuclear strike Russia back, basically.
Well, I mean, he got fucking nuked on his head, so I get it. I get it. I'd probably do the same.
Oh, James Cromwell is fucking awesome in this movie,
man.
Yeah.
Not that I would never do that.
Do what?
Nuking?
Nuke someone?
It's not my thing.
No.
Even if I get nuked,
you love America.
I would turn the other cheek, just like Jesus taught us.
Yeah. You're really getting into this role. I love it. Yeah. We're going to be rolling in that weird Coke dark money soon enough, you know? It's going to be great. They're going to be like podcasts or the next libertarian frontier, which is, I think this is a good time to bring up that we are staunch libertarians and we're dedicated to freedom of speech and the marketplace of ideas and free markets, much like Jeff Bezos, the Washington Post. If any of these people are listening, just give us money. Just
look.
Yeah.
You know me, ladies be shopping. I do love a good marketplace.
Free market? That sounds like my dream. Okay, fucking, you sound like a Sex and the City character.
Sorry.
Oh, that is such a Sex and the City joke. Free markets? Yeah.
Carrie, go write it down in your 140 character fucking book that you write.
Oh, better take a week off.
Better take a fucking week off. I'm sweating from having written a paragraph.
I have to read an audiobook for 3 hours. I might fucking fall on my face. Yeah. Oh, what a good fucking show. This movie rocks.
Yeah, dude.
A perfect 6 out of 10 film.
Yeah.
I love it.
How much rating did it get on Rotten?
Like 60 something.
Okay.
Well, then great.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's in that bucket. All right.
But
I
like-
don't know why I thought it was close to 40s, and I was a little bit surprised.
No,
too.
it's
Yeah.
like it is not bad. It's like most people agree. It's like, no, this is a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
at the same time, it delivers exactly what it tells you it's going to
Mm.
deliver. And I appreciate that in a film, you know?
It's hot. It's hot. Just how I like it. It's such a mature decision to kill off the biggest fucking face on your movie poster. So, like, pretty much as the movie gets going, boom, bomb drop. All right, we're going to murder Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
And they kind of don't tell you that he's dead. They whisk him away. So you're maybe even hoping he might come back with some intel later, or maybe he'll like come join Jack Ryan later.
Dies,
But
he
he's
dies
gone.
right in front of Jack Ryan.
Oh,
There's a scene between them where he dies.
Oh, I thought they get him in the car when the
No, they take him to like a
Oh.
hospital because there's a portion of the
Oh right.
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Right.
There's a
Yes,
portion
yes,
of the
yes.
film where he's like trying to find him.
That's right.
You're thinking about Dr. Strangelove, I think.
Oh my god, I've
You got that on your mind, yeah.
Morgan Freeman's great in it.
Morgan Freeman's the best part of Dr. Strangelove, in my opinion. I've always said that. You got anything else about this?
Just that I think you should now agree that the sum of all fear is at least 17 and a half.
Me personally,
You were like, it's 7, but it's, come on, man.
I don't agree.
You're not jacking it up. You're not Jack Ryan it
I'm
up.
often jacking, but I'm not jacking this one.
You gotta Jack Ryan that shit up. Beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff. Thank you for listening.
It's been the low ceiling.
It has been a low ceiling. Anyone with weird dark money want to contact us? We'll be
Yeah.
happy. We'll be happy to espouse opinions that you want because
Yeah.
we have no morals nor any spine, and we will. Yeah,
We're about that life.
we're all about America, free speech, not democracy. That's not cool anymore. What was the other? Free markets. Free markets is our big thing.
That's
We're
the one.
always about markets being free.
You know what? Call us at 1-800-FREE MARKET. Money, please. And you'll find us there. Bye.
Oh, bye.